Chaotic here with another CZN video. Today we're going to discuss the half anniversary card Selector for combatants as well as partners, so that you can make the best decision possible for your account depending on your gameplay style. So whether you like to have all the combatants and partners in the game, or whether you like to make selections based on your needs and then stacking the dupes so that you can get more benefit out of the combatant itself or the partner, then you can make that decision based on the information given. So today we're going to start with combatants first. This is the list of the characters that are available. Of course, if you like to play the game to collect, then select the combatant that you do not have. But as we are 6 months into the game, most players now have a variety of the combatants they already liked to play with. Then this list is basically, I think, to fill your holes or to increase your ego manifestation. So just looking at this list, in priority of characters that you may or may not have, then Veronica, if you don't have this character already, she's definitely one of the best supports in the game just for her draw engine. And now in Season 3, with some of the Persona cards, she's even better, as well as the equipment engraving for the 50% damage. If you can increase the action of your opponent, then you can give a team-wide bonus in damage as well. So Veronica, definitely top tier, S tier, in terms of support characters, and the support characters also having the longevity in this game rather than the DPS. So if you have an E0 DPS versus the E0 utility characters such as Veronica, then obviously Veronica at E0 will outperform an E0 damage dealer that will be likely replaced within the next 6 months or so. So in terms of value, then choosing a support is going to be the best option. So Veronica is going to be the best possible tier if you don't already have. You don't need to chase any dupes for her. And then the next best option here is Typhera. If you don't already have her, she's a little bit more difficult to play, but in terms of what she brings, she can have some draw in her kit if you have the Divine Epiphanies. She's usually AP positive, creating AP for your team as well as healing. You can think of her as a Mika that is a 5-star version that will draw as well as provide AP for your team, as well as some other buffs. So if you don't have Typhera, then you can definitely take the Selector and choose her to fill in that slot in your team. But if you are thinking in terms of Great Rift or other difficult content, you really only need up to 4 supports for your entire deck. Although you may need some variety depending on the mechanics of the boss, but generally the supports I run are Veronica, Narja, Mika, Ray, sometimes Orlea. So if you already have those characters built and you don't need another utility character, then you can choose a skipper. I actually don't have Rita, and I'm not sure if I'm going to use my Selector on her or not. I think I probably will use my Selector to increase the ego manifestation. Right now I'm thinking maybe Hugo, just because his E2 and E4 increase damage. And right now Hugo is quite meta, especially with Heidi Marie. Her card that activates the Effulgent Blades in the graveyard just for the potential to do a lot of damage. Hugo and Selena both can be very strong in this meta with Heidi Marie. And then here we also have 9. If you don't already have 9, I think that is a worthy pickup. Although her damage potential per turn may not be as good as a lot of the other damage carries that we have now. Serenial, now that we have Heidi Marie. 9 at E0 may not do a lot, but if you're able to get her into her higher ego manifestations, E4 or E6, then you can definitely unlock another tier of her damage potential, therefore increasing her longevity. So at low levels, 9 is not recommended, but at higher ego levels, you can definitely stack her egos so that she can be used for a longer period of time. Right now, 9 is my main DPS for any auto content. She definitely carries me through chaos, since Hue is a very stable card. You have it at the beginning of the turn. As long as it's not discarded, you can use it every turn for consistent damage. Then other notable characters, if you don't need these for dupes, I would say Orlea is a good one to have, just because of the growth acceleration with retain cards. And then Narja, if you don't have her, E0 works perfectly fine. Without her 5-star partner, she can use a 4-star partner and get the same amount of benefits. She can reduce the cost of your cards as well as heal. And then I think that's about it for the combatants. Depending on what you plan to do with your account, rather collecting all your characters and combatants versus chasing dupes for higher ego manifestation. But just depending on how you like to play your account. Veronica, Rita, supports, Orlea, Narja, those are the ones that you want to chase if you want to collect characters. And then for dupes, I would rank them in order of 9, Hugo, and then Magna and Rin are also good options for higher ego if there are characters that you like to play. And then now we'll go ahead and move to the partner selector. So we can take a look at the list. We don't have this yet, but here's a list of all the 5-star partners. It's actually quite long. And if we take a look at what partners I have, and we'll just go ahead and sort by the support class. Don't have a lot of partners, 5-star partners. And you can get away with this mainly because some of the 4-star partners are so strong and you can easily get them to maximum ego. If you compare a max dupe version of, let's say, Rito Richota, let's see, 16% attack versus a E0 Scarlet also has 16% attack. So E 4-star partner at max dupe is probably worth the same as a E0 or E1 5-star partner. So if you don't have the partner already, then it's probably worthwhile to just skip. Now you may want to stack the dupes so that you can gain more stats, whether it's the attack, the defense, or HP percent, or the healing, or just the damage portion of the card itself. Scarlet is a good option here for strikers just because there aren't too many options available 4-star wise that are good for strikers. If we take a look at this partner, it's rather limited for the use case. 20% to 2 costs are higher. Then if we're looking at Scarlet, we have plus 15% damage after using attack cards 2 times, which can stack, plus 30 flat, and then also this focus will increase damage by 20%. So comparing this to the other 4-star partner, I think Scarlet does have a good value, especially if you can get ego more than just the base version. So if you can get up to 1, 2, 3 copies, then Scarlet is a great option for the dupe selector. Then Vanguards, I do have Alcea maxed out since I use 9 a lot. If you use 9 a lot, definitely you can chase Alcea dupes. She does have a high ceiling for defense percent, 24%, and then the damage amount of the next card scales as well. The shield also scales. I think it does not scale on the last dupe, but up to the second to last. The fixed shield only one time per turn does scale, so it just provides a little bit more survivability. But in terms of other 4-star partners, they don't give damage. So if you play 9 a lot, or even if you play other defense-based carries like Magna and Kalip, then you do want to choose a 5-star partner. This is a good segue to talk about Zeta. I don't have her, but she is Kalip's designated partner. And although her use case is limited just, I think, Kalip, because she gives plus 25% assigned damage to Celestial cards, but she also does increase Instinct cards damage as well. So if you don't have Zeta and you play Kalip quite often, then Zeta is a good option to pick up. Ranger, you can see here, there's a lot of 4-star partners that are good for Rangers. We have Daisy, we have Rosaria, and both of these are top tier in terms of 4-star partners. And you can see here, Daisy or Rosaria increases attack by 16%, which is equivalent to the base version of the E 5-star partner. And then increased damage amount of extra attacks by 20%. That's huge. It's not a flat, but a multiplicative 20%. And then on top of that, she also has a 50% chance to gain morale each time you use an upgrade or a skill card. So on a character that spams a lot of skill cards, like Veronica, or even someone like Hugo, then not only is he getting the extra attacks damage, but also the morale stacks if you're using skill cards. So in terms of Rangers, I probably would skip most of the Rangers that are available in the tier list or in the partner list. And then we'll go to Hunters. Hunters, I think the only really viable option here is Janet. Not too many good options in terms of 4-star partners. Although this Carity does increase damage of one attack card by the assigned combatant by 20%. That's just a one-time. And then also creates card for their first time increased damage amount of cards by 20%. So definitely can be useful, but if we take a look here at Janet, increases the combatant's attack by 16%. And then 9% critical chance that one costs are lower. So that's going to apply to characters that have cheap skills that are very spammable. And then the third part is the bullets portion of this partner. Then that you can use with characters like Luke or Deanna that have bullets. Then using 5 bullets, then you create another random bullet. So if you have spam bullets like Luke or Deanna, then Janet is a good pickup here, especially since this 9% critical chance can increase to even more. Then at higher dupe levels, Janet can become a very potent partner for any hunters. Then Psionic, none of these are really notable. I do have Itsuku for Chizuru. The damage is decent. There is not too many good options in terms of 4-star partners. Although Chizuru right now is not really relevant in the meta. So if you have Chizuru and you really like her, then you can pick up Itsuku for her, or stack the ego manifestation so you get more damage out of her. And then controllers, there are a lot of options here. And most of these are for chaos, whether you're using Arwen, Alyssa, Yvonne, and Nyx here. I do have her at the higher dupe levels from the battle pass, but she's not on the Selector tier list. So if we go back to the list itself, I think ranking them in terms of who you might want to choose, depending on whether you're filling a slot or in terms of dupes. If you don't have the partner itself, then Janet here for Luke and Deanna can be a good option. Also, in terms of dupes, more stats, more critical chance. And then Zeta for Kalip. If you like Kalip or if you like to stack higher ego dupes, Zeta is optional here as well. Bria is a designated partner for, I think, I forget, maybe Renoa, but it generates stacks of damage, I think up to 3 times. And then that's a decent option to pick up. Scarlet is a good pickup for Malin or Rin just for the damage bonus, and stacking that, the ego dupes can give you even more damage. And let's see. Tina here, I didn't talk about Tina, but she is Hugo's partner, and since Hugo is quite meta right now, I don't have Tina, and I might actually consider pulling and using this ticket for Tina, just because Tina increases the combatant's attack just like all the 5-star partners, and then also the order damage bonus, and then on top of that, a flat extra damage bonus for Hugo. So Tina is going to be very good for Hugo, definitely better than 4-star partners. So if you like playing Hugo, then Tina is a good option to pick up, although Tina is going to be order attribute damage only, so you won't be able to use her for Selena or other combatants that use extra attacks. So that's pretty much a wrap in terms of partners I would recommend. Think Janet, Scarlet, Zeta, Bria, Tina. Those are probably the top options. And if you don't have any of these, then I would recommend picking up probably either Janet or Tina, or possibly Scarlet, just because of the rarity of the 4-star partners for that class. And I think that's it for the partners, and hopefully this video was informational and helpful for you to choose the combatant and partner for the selector. And just depending on how you like to play the game, if you like to just play for fun, then collecting obviously is the best choice to go. But in terms of prioritizing higher egos for your characters and your account, you can see here that I've stacked most of my egos on characters that I will play a lot, like Heidi Marie, Serenial, 9. They're all E6. You can ignore Chizuru. I did E6 her early on as I didn't understand the game as well. She is still good. I do use her in Great Rift and other content, but that is probably a mistake. But if you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment below on what partner and what commands you plan to choose and how you like to play the game, and give me a thumbs up if this was helpful. And as always, have a great day.